Hello, Craig. How are you?
Who are you?
I'm Logan Lee. Don't you remember? I'm your co-host on this show. It's been a minute, but I'm back, and we're going to talk some Illini basketball. I hope you. I hope you're ready. Hope you missed me. Yes, I am back. Illinois goes on the road to Iowa. Plenty to talk about in the game. Fall to the Hawkeyes 81-79. We're going to talk about it. This is the No One Asked Us Illini Basketball Postgame Show. He's Craig Choate. I am Logan Lee. As always, give us a follow, like us on all of our social media. If you're watching alongside, welcome. First off, thanks for joining us. Get in the chat. Let us know what you're feeling. I know Craig has plenty of things to discuss, plenty of things to get off his chest after that game. And so maybe some of you feel the same way he does. So feel free to chime into the conversation. We'd love to hear from everyone. First off, before we get into this, Craig, I just want to thank you. I know it's been a long couple weeks without your esteemed co-host. So well done carrying the torch for the last few games. I have not seen much Illini basketball the past couple weeks. Let's just get it out in the open now. I think of the last 4 or 5 games, I think I've seen one before today. So I was able to watch the Wisconsin game, and that's about it. But I am back, and we're gonna.
They don't have Big Ten Network in the Caribbean.
Don't have Big Ten Network in the Caribbean. I will tell you this now. I was ready. The first night we were there, we got ESPN, and the Ohio State game was on ESPN. And so we had an early morning. I knew I was going to be in the hotel room to watch the game, and I had ESPN on. I had SportsCenter on. They did a little preview of the game leading up to the Ohio State game, and then as soon as they went to the game, my feed cut to soccer. So I did not get to watch that game. So yeah, I was able to watch Wisconsin, and then the Nebraska game. I was on a flight during the entirety of that game. That's another story that I will talk about in our weekly show whenever we record that. But I am back. We're here to talk about Illinois basketball, specifically the game today at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Let's just kind of get some of the main things out here first. I know you had a lot of thoughts going in or during this game. You seem to be very vocal about particular people on the court. How are you feeling? How are you feeling right now?
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like I was pretty reserved today.
You weren't going after anybody in striped shirts.
Oh, I mean they're always bad. And it's not like officials. It's the way the game is. It's the way they're told to officiate.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm learning. I'm not mad at the officials. Yeah, there were some calls that were missed, but that's not what this game. That's not what today was about. That's not the reason Illinois lost. I just think officiating in general is bad.
I agree. I just want to lay that out because I was scrolling through Twitter right before we went on, and I just saw several people complained about the officiating, and I just don't subscribe to that theory. Whatever. Illinois loses this game 81-79. They dropped to 16-5 in the Big Ten. The middle of the Big Ten standings are very muddled at this point. Was hoping Illinois could win this and kind of pull themselves up towards the top of that, but they're right there in the middle of it now. Go through some of the stats here. Matthew Meyer led the Illini in scoring with 21 points. He also had 5 boards, 4 assists, and 4 fouls. Fouls were a big issue. We'll talk about that here shortly. Dain Dainja, nearly a double-double, 17 points and 9 rebounds for him. Jayden Epps had a nice game. Had only 2 points in the first half, I think, or maybe didn't score any in the first half, and then scored nearly all of his 16 in the second half. 16 points and 5 assists for Jayden Epps. Terrence Shannon had 11 points, a couple rebounds and assist from him. That's it in terms of the Illini scoring. I believe Tony Perkins led all scorers. He would have like 32 points. He was also 15 for 16 from the free throw line. That's something we can talk about here soon too. Let's just go into this. First thing, I know you put it down. This was a good basketball game. I mean, this is just as a general, if you're a casual viewer tuning into Fox on your Saturday afternoon to watch some basketball, you probably really enjoyed this. And I enjoyed it. Granted, I didn't like the outcome. And at this point, every win is going to be crucial when you start the Big Ten season with 3 losses. But it was a good basketball game. It was plenty of fouls, and I think that hurt it down the stretch. But Illinois wasn't. This wasn't a bad game for Illinois. I don't know if anybody thinks it was. Sure, it was messy. Sure, there were plenty of turnovers, things you could have resolved, but it was still a good basketball game, and Illinois was right in there till the very end. In fact, Illinois was leading for most of this game. It just came down to the part where they couldn't put Iowa away. Iowa hung with them, but in the end, as I said, great basketball game.
Illinois led for 24 minutes. Iowa led for 11. So, yeah, that's where the game's at. But it's the epitome of the saying, when you get in trouble at school and you're a kid, what do your parents tell you? I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Because I'm not mad. Good. I mean,
that's good.
I said this at the end of the last postgame show that I did. Iowa is number one on my rivalry big board right now. They are at the top of the Illinois rivalry right now. So losing to Iowa never puts me in a good mood, obviously. Nothing about me is happy about what happened today. But it's just disappointing because the way Illinois lost was simple stuff. It was the stupid fouls and the turnovers. They did everything else better than Iowa. Looking at the team stats, they out-rebounded Iowa by 11. They shot the ball just as good as Iowa, better than Iowa, in Iowa's home court arena. Illinois shot 49%, 32% from three. Iowa shot 45%, 37% from three, but they made the same amount of threes. Illinois played just as good, if not better, than Iowa today. But it's the stupid stuff. What I say last year. What I say about this team last year. They go stupid. They go stupid. And today was stupid. Just stupid fouls. And we talked about it before. The refs did a good job. They did fine. Like, they called what they were supposed to call. It's just Illinois fouled in the stupidest moments. Yeah. Meyer picks up a foul 95 feet from the rim. Was it hook and hold? Yes. From what I know, it was a hook and hold, so it's not his fault. But that's what I'm taking away from this, is that Illinois was the better team, probably is the better team. If this game is in State Farm Center, Illinois probably wins by 7 or 8 points. Just stupid mistakes and the turnovers. That's what bothers me.
I agree, and I'm with you. I do think these are two very evenly matched teams. Granted, unfortunately, Illinois doesn't get to rematch this game. There is not.
Yeah. Which sucks because now Iowa has the tiebreaker.
Yep. So that's the unfortunate thing, because I think you're right. I think Illinois probably is the more talented team, but they did show it in the broadcast. These teams have had similar seasons. Both teams started the season strong with big wins against bigger, Power 5 opponents, and then they struggled. Both teams struggled to start Big Ten play in December, and they've both gotten pretty hot here in the last few weeks. So I think these teams are both very evenly matched, as we saw in the final score was only 2-point game. And I think you're right. I think if this game was played in Champaign, it would be a 6, 7, 8-point Illinois win. But that's not what we got. We got this game in Iowa, and Illinois ended up being on the losing end. You talked about the turnovers. The turnovers and the fouls, I think that was the biggest thing for the Illini. That was the biggest difference. Illinois turned the ball over 14 times. Iowa only turned the ball over 7 times. Both teams committed plenty of fouls. Illinois, I think, just had more stupid fouls and more stupid chances to do stupid things. That's all this was. I mean, that's the difference. Because I don't think that everything else in terms of the box score, the team comparisons, it was pretty even. But yeah, Illinois did lead for most of this game. But that was the thing that stuck out to me, is that, and they made the comment too in the broadcast that it felt like Illinois was in control in the second half. Yeah. But Iowa was always right there. And then they eventually took it over. They hit the 3 towards the end, and I kind of figured that was the end of it. Now the game went on for another 10 minutes after that. But Illinois was never able to get back to that. How are we doing in the chat? Anybody here? Anybody have things to say?
Yeah,
anything you want to bring up?
I wonder. Okay, so it was a 7-point Illinois lead with 9:48 left. Dain had a dunk with 9:48 left to make it 7. Did anything stupid happen after that? Like, how did they go on the run? Because within a minute and a half, it was tied. Turnover.
I don't remember.
Yeah, turnover. Traveling by RJ. Illinois was up 3, and there was a travel call.
Yep.
There was a foul on Ty and 1. Yeah, for Tony Perkins, which, yeah. Okay, so it was just stupid. It was turnovers and fouls.
Yeah.
All right, let's go into the chat. Brant.
Yeah, Brant says, I hate calling out one player, but Shannon is a senior, fouls out on 3 of 10 shooting, 1 assist, 5 turnovers. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the last few games, but prior to this, I mean, yeah, this has been the Terrence Shannon experience.
Yeah.
He's a very talented player, and he's capable of putting up 20 some points a game. But he's also capable of being a total non-factor. And tonight, yes, he had 11 points and he had an okay game, but he's just not the type of player that takes over in these situations. I was going to bring this up at some point. I was reading a few different publications had like mid-season, all American teams, all, superlatives, that type thing. And I saw a few people that had, Terrence Shannon as like a, maybe not a first team all Big Ten player, but had him as like a second team all Big Ten player. And I saw a few different things that didn't have Matthew Meyer mentioned in places that I thought he'd be mentioned. And I just think we're to the point now where Matthew Meyer is the better player on this team right now. He's the one he's doing more. He needs to be in those conversations. That Terrence Shannon has been people have kind of just put him in those conversations based on some of his early games, his early outings, but he's not been the guy. And you really want to see more from him. Now the fouls were an issue for everybody. Meyer, Shannon, Dainja, Ty Rogers, everybody was in foul trouble. But yeah, you need to see more out of Terrence Shannon. I fully agree.
Speaking of,
welcome to the chat, Tim Lee. Yeah, too many fouls. We should know that when we play into Fran's plans. Yeah, I mean that's how this team functions. That's how they operate. That's the pressure they're going to put on you, and you should know that. But it's also not a Illinois team that's super familiar with Fran McCaffrey, probably. But it's true. I mean, that's what it came down to. It was the fouls and turnovers. Jayden Epps really is looking like he could be special. I agree. I saw somebody else said that he has some shades of Trent Frazier to him, and I can see that. Not quite the defensive player as Trent, but yes.
I put this in. Get the hashtag ready. The group chat. Last game. I see some Dimitri McCamey in him.
That's a good one. I can see that.
When was McCamey there? Were we in college?
Yeah.
We would have been in college. We were about his age, I think. So I wasn't watching with the eye that I do now, so I don't remember if he was any good defensively or whatnot. But I see Dimitri McCamey and Jayden Epps.
I can see that. I think McCamey was a little more of a pure point guard than Jayden Epps is.
I do agree with that.
But they could both put it up. They could both score it. So I can see that. I agree. But yeah, he's going to be a special player, and having him and Dain Dainja for the next couple of years is going to be a nice centerpiece for this team. Iowa's always been tops on my rival list. Yeah, I agree. They're, I think I've always kind of still considered Indiana to be the top rival, but I get it. There's just a lot of love lost.
They don't think Illinois is
they don't
rival.
think no, and they don't. They consider Purdue their rival, and whatever. That's fine. Plenty of hatred. No love lost this week, especially between Illinois and Iowa. We can talk about that here in a second too. I think it was a bad game, and our ceiling just got a little lower. I don't know about that. I mean, it's a game you would have liked to have won, but that's a pretty good Iowa team. I'm not going to take anything away from them. This middle of the Big Ten it's going to be a giant cluster. I think both of these teams are competing for, double buys when it comes down to it. Don't know that either of them will get there, but I think they're right in the mix. I wouldn't say it was a bad game for Illinois. They had some stupid mistakes, and I don't know about necessarily lowering their ceiling any.
No, I don't think so. I wasn't expecting to win this game. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be even this close. I had a bad feeling. I always have a bad feeling going to Iowa City. So I think I probably come out of this feeling better because Terrence Shannon was terrible. Coleman Hawkins wasn't great offensively, and you lose by 2. Yeah. I mean, Matthew Meyer's a baller. Jayden Epps is a stud. Dain Dainja is a stud. If Illinois can get Hawkins and Shannon to be consistent, I think there's a threat here. This team can be a threat.
I'm with you. Can't state the name.
Got to get him in there.
Oh, thanks,
he's here
Michael.
every show.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm happy to be back. I know Craig missed me. I know the viewers probably missed me too. Played good. Refs made a couple crucial non-calls. Yeah, they blew some whistles on some things they maybe shouldn't have, and they let some things go that maybe they shouldn't have. So I don't want to say it was the refs. It was a refs game, a ref show, but yeah, they were certainly a factor for sure.
Answer to this: I wonder if Goody has a COVID years. No, he wasn't here when COVID happened, so he doesn't get a COVID year. He has 4 years. Correct. Continuing, Wally, your favorite Pixar?
I love Wally. He's not my favorite Pixar. He's a great movie though. Gotta admit, freshmen are improving each game. Yeah, we didn't talk about any of them yet, and we'll get to them in a second. But yeah, I agree. As somebody that has missed the past few games, this is a whole new Ty Rogers that I'm seeing on the court. Yeah. The Ty Rogers that I'm seeing now compared to the Ty Rogers that I saw before I went on my little hiatus is a very different basketball player. So yes, I agree. The freshman Ty and Jayden and Sincere really making some nice strides. They still make some mistakes, but they're going to be really special in the coming years. Yeah, I mean it's a nice group. It's a nice group. Does Epps remind you of a little Luther Head as well? That's not a bad comp. That's not a bad comp. I don't know if I'm fully there, but I could see it. And then somebody else says too small to be Luther Head, which I mean I guess, but
I like my Dimitri McCamey comp. I know, like you said, McCamey dished it a little bit more. He averaged like 5 assists, but just I think next year, body-wise, we're going to see a different Jayden Epps. I think he's going to bulk up and be able to muscle some guys around and guard a little bit better in the post. But I like my McCamey comp until someone shows me a better one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Do you want to talk about everyday guys? Do you want to highlight anybody here? Let's see. Who do you got?
I think it's probably I'm going to give it to Ty. I gave it to Sincere last game when I probably should have gave it to Ty, but he continues to get better and better every game. And I know Bardo has been riding him like he's the next coming of Kendall Gill or something. I don't know if we'll get there, but I do agree with Bardo that if he develops some sort of outside shot, doesn't have to be a 3-point shot, but if he can kind of get that IO mid-range floater jumper going, I think he's going to be a force. I thought he played really well. Obviously still holes. He's a freshman. He makes freshman mistakes, but I'm loving the trajectory of Ty Rogers right now. I mean, we were talking a month ago when Luke Goody comes back, whose minutes does he get? And we all said Ty. I know he wasn't playing a ton. He was playing like less than 10. But at this point, you can't take Ty's minutes away. How many rebounds did he have today?
6 boards.
6
6 points, 6 boards, and 1 assist. 3 turnovers.
2 steals.
2 steals.
So you can't take his minutes away right now. So I'm going to give it to Ty Rogers.
Yeah, I mean, as I just said a couple minutes ago, he's a different player than the Ty Rogers I saw before I left. So I agree with you there. I'll go Jayden. I'll go the other freshman.
I mean, has to be.
It has to be. 16 points for him. Most of those coming in the second half. Matthew Meyer was really the focal point of the offense in the first half, and Dain. But the second half, Jayden Epps at one point scored 12 points in a row or something for Illinois, something like that.
He did.
So he really took over in the second half. Now, they could have used him to be a little more effective down the stretch. That last three, I'm not sure why that was the shot we were taking, but it is what it is. But he had a nice game. Nice game for Jayden Epps. I really like his progression. I like highlighting the freshman here. I mean, I think that I think they're really showing out. And I mean, I've been including Dain in that conversation too, because he essentially is a freshman and he's been huge too for this team. So I'll go with Jayden Epps. He was a nice cog to the offense in the second half. Just needed a little more from him. How about some good and the bad? I mean, I know the bad has essentially been what we talked about. It's the free throws, it's the turnovers.
I got a different bad.
Okay, well, I mentioned the Tony Perkins thing. I mean, he got to the free throw line 16 times, made 15 free throws. Good for him for making 15 of 16 at the free throw line, but you just can't do that. You can't let a good free throw shooter like that get to the line 16 times. That's just incredible. Good on him, but like no, you can't have that. But yeah, I mean, it's obviously the fouls and the turnovers, which is the main thing. What do you got?
I'm starting, and we talked about it in preseason.
Oh.
I'm starting to get very concerned about the depth of this roster because you're getting absolutely nothing from RJ Melendez and Sincere Harris right now.
This is really funny you say that because I feel like we have collectively been so back and forth on the depth of this team. We start the season, I think I probably said depth was a concern. And then a little later on in the year, I thought, okay, I do kind of like this team's depth. I think they're pretty top heavy, but I think that they got enough guys that can help you out. And I don't disagree with you. Bad take. Is this
welcome to my life? I'm assuming.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, Sincere Harris, other than some, Sincere Harris, there's a token moment every game where Sincere Harris does something really stupid offensively and then tries his absolute hardest to make up for it defensively. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But he's good for one of those every single game. He doesn't bring much offensively right now, and defensively, I don't know. I mean, he does some things, and he can provide some electricity there off your bench, but he doesn't do much. And RJ has been non-existent, a non-factor. We haven't mentioned the Luke Goody thing. He was on the sidelines. He was dressed today. He has been practicing. Thought there's a chance he might have seen the floor today, but that didn't happen. So probably factor him into the mix here in the next game or two, you would think. Maybe the Minnesota game might be a good opportunity to get him some minutes. So he might be able to come in there and take some minutes from some of those guys, but we really don't know what we're going to get out of him either. It's not like he was a double-digit scorer last year. I think he averaged like 2 points a game. We know he's a sharpshooter, but I don't know what we can really count on him for. But I don't think you're wrong. I think that there can be some concerns with the bottom of this rotation. I do still think they have enough guys that can carry this team when they need it. They need them to. But you're right. I mean, you're playing what they play tonight. 8. Are they playing 8 deep now? And 2 of them provide you very little offensively.
That's what I was going to say. Let me read through their stat lines tonight. And this isn't the first game this has happened. Since Sincere got taken out of the starting lineup, he really hasn't done anything. RJ had the one game where he scored 10. I don't remember what it was. One game he scored 10. But tonight, this afternoon, today, 26 minutes combined between Sincere and RJ. 0 of 1 from the field. RJ missed a 3. 2 of 2 from the free throw line, which RJ hit. 4 total combined rebounds. 2 turnovers, 1 block, 0 assists, and combined minus 25 in the plus minus. Those 2 guys alone were minus 25 in the plus minus.
I'm not going to disagree.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I agree. When you're only playing 8 deep and 2 of them are giving you nothing there offensively, that's something to be concerned about. Depth is a problem when Illinois goes 12 on a 12-2 run without TSJ, Meyer, and Dainja. That's a question. I mean, I get that.
Was that when Jayden scored all 12 points?
I think so.
Probably, so it was one person.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. I do think it is a concern because you need something more there. RJ has a hitch in his shot right now. Poor kid hasn't been the same since he got the shoulder injury. Yeah, Brant, I think you're right. I think he's certainly struggled to find his shot. RJ in his own head, his shots aren't even close. Yeah, he had a wide open three today that he could not sink. I worry for him. I really do. I hope he can figure it out, but I worry that RJ might continue to be an issue. We'll have to see what sort of role Luke Goody can fill when he's back and ready to go. Anything else in terms of good or bad that you wanna highlight? Any specific goods for you? I don't have anything. I mean, I think we've already kind of covered most everything.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else. No.
As I've said, I don't think this was a bad game for Illinois. This is not a game that I'm concerned about. I was probably a little more optimistic going into the game than you were. But either way, I think these are two very evenly matched teams. These are two teams that are going to be fighting in the middle of the Big Ten. Illinois was hoping they could maybe separate themselves from some people, but obviously that wasn't going to happen. So there are more games, there are more chances. There's plenty more opportunities here for the Illini. Yes, Craig.
It's just going to be hard to swallow that Illinois has now lost to Missouri, Northwestern, Indiana, and Iowa.
That's a good point.
Does it get worse?
Well, no, especially Northwestern.
Northwestern, Missouri, Indiana, Iowa. I would put Wisconsin right up there, which you beat twice, so that kind of cancels them out. Like, Who's the other? Those are like the big five rivals right there, and you're 2-4 against them.
Yeah, I mean it's not something I'm concerned about, but it obviously does. It does sting a little bit. It does suck because you like to win those rivalry games, and not the year for that. All right, who else is in the chat? Anything else we want to highlight? What do you got here for me, Craig?
Jeff, I do not lose to Michigan. Yeah,
I agree. Is that game in Champaign? I don't remember.
I don't know. Last I checked, Iowa was beating, or Indiana was beating Purdue.
Good for the Hoosiers. Let's see. The Michigan game is in Champaign. That's the second to last game of the season. Yeah. So I agree. Don't lose to Michigan. That's not a very good basketball team this year. But yeah. What else we got?
Nothing really.
Nothing else. Anything else from you? Anything else you want to highlight? Anything else you want to talk about this game?
I think I talked about all my talking points.
Yeah? Nothing else?
I don't think so.
Oh, there was one more comment from Tim Lee I saw.
Oh, there was. Got to get him in there.
I want to bring that up because him and I have had this discussion.
Yes. I'm sorry, Tim. I skipped over this. I saw it and meant to, but sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Today was the first game we thought we needed a true point guard specifically against their press. Yeah. We've talked about it. I'm not going to bring up his name again. But like he was a point guard. So,
did you see, did you see my tweet after or during the Nebraska game that went it was a hot button topic?
Probably not. I was dealing with some other issues at the time. I'll tell you about that story later, what I was doing during the Nebraska game. But what was your tweet?
This team could use Brandon Pajimski.
I did see that tweet. Yes, I did read the comments on that too.
That was very controversial, which I can see why. My point is,
he's a shooter.
Shooting is shooting.
I get it.
The 3-point line doesn't change depending on the conference you're in. He's shooting 40% from three. This team's one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country. This team could use Brandon Pajimski.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't know how he really fits into this team. And I think I would rather have a true point guard more so than him. I know we're not bringing up his name.
Andre Curbelo? Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, the one that got ejected for throwing his goggles or whatever he did the other day. Yes, I know this team does not have a true point guard. And we've mentioned it a few times on the show. It is what it is. This is what they're rolling with. Jayden Epps is the closest thing you're going to have to a point guard for the rest of the season. So, just got to figure that out. But yes, I think this team certainly could use one.
Got some good news. I found my biggest fan.
You have a fan?
I found my biggest fan.
Is it Marshall King?
That's Marshall King. Bad
Marshall.
As well. Welcome to my life, Marshall.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here and embrace all the love that you get on the internet. I know you have a lot of fans.
I deleted tweets for the first time in a long time.
Oh, like bad tweets or
it's just
tweets?
I didn't want to get in the middle of it. I said stuff about the ticket thing, and
we should talk about the ticket
after a while I was like, you know what? I'm removing myself from this. First I closed down the replies, then I just deleted the tweets. I'm like, I don't whatever. Orange Crush went about it all wrong. I'm just going to stay out of it. So I deleted the tweets.
Do you want to make a point
Not
now?
really.
Do you want to make a statement now?
I mean, I feel like if people are watching this, they know what happened, and I think the Orange Crush just picked the wrong organization to fake out. Like you got to pick a better organization if you're going to act like them.
The only thing I have with either side of the ticket debacle is I don't like that Iowa waited till 3 days before. That's the thing that bothers me the most.
I mean, they did that on purpose.
I get the Orange Crush side. I get the Iowa side. I get all of it. I just don't like that they waited until then.
And
I don't think that's fair.
What caused them to look into a boys and girls club? Like, why did they think?
I don't know.
Is this legit?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't have a problem with
neither side handled it correctly.
Doing it. I don't have a problem with Iowa canceling the tickets. I just wish they didn't wait until freaking Wednesday or Thursday to do it. And then, of course, they lost all the money they had for the buses and everything too. So that's part that really sucks for everybody.
Iowa making it sound like Illinois used acting like a boys and girls club to get the group discount when all groups, no matter the organization, get a discount.
Right.
Iowa's making it sound like the Orange Crush scammed them out of money by acting as a group.
I mean,
is that how
they've done it every year? Have they always just been a different group?
Yes.
To get tickets when they go to these road games?
Yes. Every year, the Orange Crush either they make up organization or they say they're a different organization to get the tickets because they don't want to say, hey, we're Illinois student section and we want 200 tickets at your arena. So they lie, basically. Yep. They lie about who they are to get in, and it's a fun little tradition. But it's going to be interesting to see how they rebound next year and what they plan to do next year because people know Iowa kind of called them out. So it was a weird night. It was a weird night.
Yeah, it was a weird few days leading into this game. So, all right, whatever. Illinois goes to Iowa, loses 81-79. They dropped to 16-7 on the season, 7-5 in the Big Ten standings. They're in the middle of that crowded Big Ten standings race. It's basically Purdue at one end, Minnesota at the other, and then literally everybody else. So over time, it'll sort itself out, but Illinois is still going to be right in the middle of that for a while. I did my bracketology stuff last night. Ooh. I had Illinois as a 5.
That's where everyone has them.
Today. They might fall to like a 6 now, but I probably won't worry about updating that for another week or so.
Which I prefer 6 to 5. Remember?
Okay. Your ideology confuses me. We can discuss that later. All right, next up, Tuesday night at home against Minnesota, the worst team in the Big Ten. Hopefully, you can bounce back from this one.
I thought it was Rutgers next. I had them flipped.
No, it is Minnesota. Minnesota Tuesday, Rutgers Saturday. So, but yeah, those are the next 2 games. Both of them are at home. You could really use wins against both those teams. Rutgers is really good. Rutgers is probably the second best team in the Big Ten right now. They are according to the standings, but yeah, I
never would have guessed this Rutgers team. I feel like they've had better teams in the past couple of years with Ron Harper and Geo Baker, but yeah, they're really good.
We'll see how it all shakes out, but we will be back for another show Tuesday night after the Minnesota game. We'll also plan to have a regular show this week at some point. Not really sure when we'll record it, but we'll get that out for you guys at some point here soon. Anything else from you, Craig?
Wrap it up.
All right. This has been an Illini basketball postgame show from No One Asked Us. He's Craig. I'm Logan. If you're still here, thanks for joining us. Follow us on all of our social media. like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back here again on Tuesday night. Final from Iowa City, 81-79 Hawkeyes. We'll see you on Tuesday night. Bye.
Nice to have you back.